Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second day of the Africa Bank 4.0 Summit. And this is Fahad Ali Akmal with you, the event show director. Happy to welcome all of you back onto the second day of the event. Now, let's talk about data management. And we have a fireside chat. In fact, this is a very international fireside chat. The speaker is from Abu Dhabi, and the moderator, it's actually early in the morning where the moderator is currently based, Mark Johnson, the editorial board chairman for the CDO magazine. Mark will be moderating a fireside chat with Rashed Alsuwaidi, the chief executive officer for Avantologie. Avantologie, they are the supporting partner of the event. And we've heard from Althea Davis yesterday when she was moderating the Guru panel, and we have also heard from Althea Davis, Rashid's colleague, a few hours back on the digital leaders panel. What was her views on investing in human emotions? So now let's go straight into data management, because Eventology is all about data. Rashid also speaks about data, and this conversation for the next 30 minutes, it's about achieving financial inclusion with an effective data management game plan. So I'd like to request Mark to take it forward from here. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you. Rashed, it's good to see you again this morning. Thank you for
Mark.
Thank you for having the conversation. So last year we saw the mother of all crises slam the world and decimate the aviation industry, among others. Yet many of us have forgotten about the financial meltdown in 2008. How has this event and the rise of banking 4.0 thereafter inspire you to create meaningful data offerings for the financial services industry?
Yeah. So, Mark, if you want to speak about what happened back in 2008 before the financial meltdown, when the market crashed, banks used to fight for the same customers terribly. That was a huge problem. Our meaningful data offering carries banking 4.0 to the next step. We're creating a data service advisory and data products, making it suitable for the progress in banks to accomplish what's called banking 4.0. So one of the initiatives we shaped is creating the financial service bank, servant bank. So for a bank to progress, instead of keeping their customers away, banks can and should connect to their customers directly by being being the financial coach for financial superiority towards the customers. And they have to fit in every facet of the customer's life and experience. From that, what they will gain is they will understand their behavior and their experience and needs. That's all done by not listening to the customer, but more of observing and understanding what the customer needs. So all this could be achieved by having a data-centric perspective. And now we are shifting the roles of the banks from being accessible to the few into having a servant, mentor, friend that takes the customer by the hand to enhance their experience with the banks.
And this is really all dependent upon data and the high quality data in that ecosystem. You recently co-authored an article in the Kenyan Revenue Authority magazine, Tax Prism, on the topic New Frontiers and New Possibilities, where you discussed on financial inclusion. This is a hot topic, yet most people would not associate data as the first and most powerful asset a company can use to address this topic. How do you help firms achieve their goals related to financial inclusion with data, with your data services and data products and data solutions?
Yeah. So, Mark, if you want to speak about the construction industry, this is where I come from. It's arguably the oldest profession, and there we can see how data is underutilized due to lack of data literacy. That's one thing, and the lack of ability to put data to work. So if you want to look at it from the outside and look at it from outside of the box of our current linear economy, due to certain factors like global population increase, environmental challenges, increase in material demand, and more of the current world's problems. What we need to do is to face those modern problems with modern solutions. How? By using data. We can build that bend that linear economy line into a circle, forming a circular economy, and that would apply to every other industry too. So let's consider other organizations into this matter. Let's say, for example, if you want to imitate the construction industry offering, we can tap on banking, just like I mentioned. We can create a financial servant, a servant mentor that can guide their clients, which is currently important to serve in banking. Another example that I can give you for the healthcare sector, by making the healthcare sector much more advanced, we have to harmonize the patient data. So upon that, we can make the healthcare sector more accessible. We can bring down the costs, bring down the risks, increase the quality of the health services, thus creating a better financial service and financial inclusion. I'll give you another example. We tapped on before smart cities and creating a brain and aware smart city, using the circular economy concept, and by having it data centric, this will also result in financial inclusion.
Yeah, so the last presenter, I want to just to explore a little bit here. The last presenter talked about how important the customer was in the digital banking or digital lending landscape. The customer is really the center of it all. And so as we think about the customer and we think about data management capabilities that enable organizations, especially in fintech and financial services to customer information, how are your services supporting the creation of that ecosystem?
By observing, like I said, by observing the customer needs, not the customer wants. Before of course, we've heard of surveys given to customers, and the customers give you what they think they want, but what they don't need actually. So if you want to observe a customer, like the last presenter, he pointed out at loans, and he said loans should be accessible 24/7, but in return, you have to observe what the customer has to go through social media, looking for what kind of interest he has, how can he sustain paying the loan back. All of that is observing. It's not tracking what he wants and listening to his feedback about how the services improve. The customer in the end doesn't define how the bank should act. It's the banks should take the initiatives of understanding the customers.
That's a very interesting perspective. So tell us, how did you create the concept of a financial servant mentor for banking, and why should the C-suite care about that?
Yeah. So the concept of financial servant mentor is we built it on the concept of banking 4.0. And it's all about changing the 500 years old base bank concept. And then we took it to the next level by having to change the role of the bank to serve the banked and unbanked. So we achieve much more data-oriented financial advisor. This results in creating a financial mentor friend that could take the customer by the hand and having a better life experience rather than just tapping on the financial aspect. Most customers rely on banks to move forward with their life. So why not make that more efficient? In addition to your question, you asked why should the C-suite care? It's all about survival of the fittest. If the C-suite are in charge of their banks. They don't want to downgrade like what we saw in the past 2 years. The C-suite are held accountable first of all, and they ignore the signs of changes. So most banks in the coming years will cease to exist because of that problem. It's not that they don't care; it's the changes in technology and in the globe is happening so fast that it's important for us to seize the opportunities rather than just wait for things to happen. So we believe that data is underutilized in the financial industry, and banks have not yet addressed their needs.
Very interesting. So do you believe that neo-banking, banking 4.0, challenger banks, and blockchain and banking will help the sector keep ahead of the tsunami of global market convergence and pressures?
Yeah. When it comes to banking, these are all facts. They're just facts of what is called data innovation, like you mentioned. I just stated before that data is an underutilized asset in the financial industry. We can focus data into running banks operations, as an example. We can get all the business drivers straightened out and the data flowing seamlessly. We can achieve more in banks. Or we can also generate new opportunities by utilizing data. Banks have more potential to evade the global market convergence and pressure if we properly had handled it. If I can give you an example on certain products and services, banks, for example, could focus on SMEs products and services. As we know, and we can improve our products and we can improve the SME market just by, like I said, observing them, understanding them, and understanding their needs, behaviors, and experiences with the banks. This will enhance the economy and in return will enhance the SME market. If I want to mention another untapped market that hasn't yet been appointed in non-Arab countries, for example, the Sharia products and services. And local banks in the UAE, it's underserved in non-Arab countries, and we have many people from around the globe following the Sharia laws. So we believe that we can achieve more in innovation and data, and we can achieve better institutions.
Yeah, that's interesting. How do you see innovation how do you see data innovation market?
The financial, can you repeat your question?
Oh, how do you see data? How do you see the data innovation market act as a lifesaver for financial institutions?
See what's currently happening is everything digitalization, and you cannot achieve that by having poor data literacy. That's actually obvious. So how would you understand what's going on with your customers if and expect data innovation in that sector without having threatening out your data? So this is one example of what you would result in as a whole industry. Doesn't matter, it's finance, construction, healthcare, smart cities. If the core isn't straightened out, you won't get the results you're asking for.
Yeah, that's a really key point. I'd like to kind of bring our conversation to a wrap and open it up for questions. I just want to add, Rashed, it's always great chatting with you. And I think the perspectives you bring from the UAE and Africa, that part of the world, really echo and reinforce what we're seeing over in North America and South America, and also out in Europe. This whole idea of convergence of financial services and the encroachment really into the traditional banking space of digital natives. So these are the organizations that come to the table prepared. They come with a data and analytics and machine learning and advanced AI perspective and their ability to go to market from the day they open their doors. And so traditional banks really have to figure out how to catch up, if you will, around those capabilities, because digital lending and digital demand deposit accounts and financial transactions from all kinds of new actors are really diversifying the landscape, and all that means is, customer movement. So I think your discussion today has been really eye-opening in terms of the opportunity that organizations have to invest in their customer data disciplines, their data literacy, and strengthen the position they have to compete in a converging landscape. If our viewers are interested in learning more about your solutions, where can they find more information or get in touch with you?
Thanks, Mark, for your kind words. And we are based here in Abu Dhabi. We're a global company. Avantologie.com. They could go to reach us out at admin@avantologie.com, or me personally will share our contacts. And our CDO is also contributing to this event. All our contacts are held by BII World, and we can share it whenever to learn more about Avantologie.
Great.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's open it up for any questions that we might have. So, Fahd, are you the moderator of questions?
Yeah, I'm actually cross-checking if we have questions, but okay, someone is typing. But how about you just carry on with the conversation till the question pops up?
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I know, Rashed, that you mentioned that your CDO is speaking at the event and is available for a commentary. For your organization, a services firm to have a CDO is a bold step forward.
Correct.
And I know that Althea hails from the financial services industry herself personally. So I think you're uniquely positioned to understand the challenges from inside the CDO's chair. Of course, we publish on those topics in the magazine. CDOmagazine.tech. But can you speak a little bit about the rationale for bringing Althea into the organization and how that's helped accelerate your organization's ability to align with current top-of-mind challenges in the sector?
Well, if you want to look at the market right now, like I said, it's underserved in the data management perspective. Our consultancy is a chief data-led management consultant, appointing the CDOs with the data problems, and if you look at it from their perspective, we find that they're going to be lost in the next 2 to 3 years, because having to have the first steps and guiding those organizations to be more data centric and more data driven will require a huge effort from our side. And our management consultancy is already chief data officer led management consultancy, like I mentioned to you. So it's going to be easier for them to move forward with us and handing over all those services in the coming few years, and handing over all those accomplishments that we can achieve with the organization that works with us to achieve their goals and aspires. So I believe it's a great opportunity in today's age. It's an information technology era, and data is a huge part of it.
Yeah, we see a lot of, I'm also involved in the consulting space in that I enterprises that we work with, especially in financial services, really looking for the expertise to help accelerate that, that their boardrooms are increasingly understanding that because really the strategy for banking 4.0 or 5.0 banking of the future. And that's a radical shift in the way a bank, a bank or financial services leadership team thinks about the services and the marketing strategies they have. I'm curious, what, at a more granular level, in the service catalog of offerings that your firm brings to the table, what do you see a lot of traction with in the banking sector now? Where's the hotspot of the interest coming to your table?
Well, we've seen a lot of data monetization, for example. This is part of our service offering. I won't go to the details. I mean, if anybody is interested, they can come to us for consultation. But data monetization is a hot topic in the financial sector, and having to apply it vertically in any organization is to be no experience. We are coming from over 300 years of experience in data management. So helping guiding those organizations or in the financial sector would be, let's say, easier to take a step forward with us. And that's part of the problems we're seeing, the first world problems of today's age we're seeing globally.
Okay, well, Fahd, I want to make sure that we can help to keep you on schedule. So if there aren't any other questions and you're ready for your next presenter, we can pivot. Thank you, Rashed, for spending this time with me this morning. And our audience will really benefit from the information and the ideas that you shared. Fahd?
Thank you very much, Mark. And I know it's nighttime over there, so.
Yeah, it's an interesting session. We have one speaker in Abu Dhabi, a different time zone, and we have the moderator who's in the US, and it's a completely different time zone over there. So yeah, very much of an international session. But yeah, something really good for the audience when it comes to data management. And in fact, it's a data world. And we all need to, especially since most of us over here are retail bankers, knowing the customer's pulse and everything, that is critical. You don't want to sell the wrong product to a customer under any capacity. I mean, like, it's like, if you're not into credit cards, you're not into loans, and you're looking for something in wealth management, but you're getting spammed by your financial provider for products that you don't need, then you just don't want to continue your association with that financial services provider. So any closing words from two experts, one running a consultancy firm and another, in fact, Mark, even you are running a data intelligence firm as well. So any closing moments? We have 4 more minutes for the session to conclude the session. But any closing words of advice from two chief data officers to the audience?
Let me just throw this in, and then Rashed, I'll give you the last word. I'm the CDO magazine, Chief Data Officer magazine, and I would just encourage our audience, if you have interest in themes that really align to these kinds of topics, for you to check us out at cdomagazine.tech. That's cdomagazine.tech. We publish a number of interviews of C-suite leaders who speak on their perspectives on how they're transforming their organizations with data and analytics. And then the voice of the publication is that of the chief data officer, chief data and analytics officer. They're sitting for interviews and submitting article content and supporting research that we do. So just encourage you to check us out at cdomagazine.tech. And
yeah, thanks, Mark. So I will be happy to look at the CDO magazine website too. It's really looks interesting, and From our side, I would like to thank Fahad for hosting us both. It's been a really great experience. Also, the event has many ideas coming from top people around the world, collectively guiding the global market. And Avantologie is two was coming together, meaning on getting to understand the world's problem and fixing solutions for it from a data perspective. We carry the people who have extensive knowledge in the data part, and that will guide many organizations to success, especially after what happened with the pandemic. If we want to go into statistics, that's another happening through the world. So with this change, you have to be innovative. So thanks, Fahad, and thanks, Mark, for being here. It's been a pleasure to talk to you both.
Same here. Yep.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Rashed. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a session by CDO Magazine and by Avantologie, which was on data management, achieving financial inclusion with an effective data management game plan. So a good conversation between Rashed and Mark.